Now we are going to start with a unit that is the optical instrument. See, optical instruments are those which make use of lenses. So the naturally occurring optical instrument we have in our body, that is the human eye. And you all know that for what purpose we use our eye? Eye produce the sensation of vision. Eye is used for visualizing things around us. So now we are going to take up that what are the parts of the human eye, and further we will proceed with that what are the defects, what is the power of accommodation, or what kind of problems we can have with the human eye. Right. So this is what is the human eye, as you can clearly see the diagram. So we will start with one by one step. So starting with the first part which is present outside the eye. So first of all, you should know eye is located in a eye socket. Eye is located in a eye socket. Now starting with the parts. So the first part is the scleroid. As you can see that the outer membrane that makes the eye is scleroid. So the first part is scleroid. So what is scleroid? It is the outer covering of eye, or you can say outer membrane of eye. And you know that what is the function? Obviously it is a membrane, it is the outer covering, so that means it is going to protect the inner parts. So its function is to protect the inner parts of eye, protect the inner parts of eye from any damage. Inner to scleroid we have a layer that is the choroid. So this is the scleroid and inner one is the choroid. So the inner layer is called as choroid. So what is choroid? It is inner to scleroid layer. Again it is a membrane. Now its function is to prevent internal reflection. And how it do that? It just keep the eye black from inside. So what does it do? It keeps the eye black from inside so that no internal reflection take place, so that there is no internal reflection. So these are the two layers, one is the scleroid, other is the choroid. Now if we take into consideration the part now, so what is the outer part of the eye is the white color part, that is called as cornea. As you all know that when you see the eye from outside, the outer covering what you can see is the cornea, that is the white part of the eye. So cornea is white part of eye and it is actually opaque, you cannot see into it, right. So it is opaque in color. You know that what is the function of cornea? It is opaque because it absorbs all the rays, or you can say it allows all the rays to pass inside. Means no ray is reflected, it absorbs all the light rays. Because we know that cornea is the outer part, so we also say that it acts as a window to world. Because when you see eye from outside, the part which you can see is the white one, as you can see in my eye also. So this white part is actually a window to the world, because this is allowing all the light to enter into it, and how it looks like, it is opaque in color. So this is the cornea, this is the white part, right. Inner to it we see is the iris. Now what is iris? This part is iris, this one. This whole part is iris. So what is iris? It is actually a colored part of eye. It is the colored part of eye. Like you say that you have brown eyes, you have black eyes, you have green eyes. As you all know that Aishwarya Rai is famous for her blue eyes. So that the part which makes her eyes beautiful is the iris, because the iris is only part which is colored. So right, so iris is the colored part of the eye, which can be of different colors. As you can see, it is of brown color, haze color, black color, greenish color, bluish in color. So it can be of different colors, all depend upon genes, right. So iris is the colored part of eye. Now what it is doing actually, as you can see that this is iris, it is holding a round body. It is holding a round body, and this round body is called as pupil. So we say that function of iris is to hold pupil. Function of iris is to hold pupil. Now there is one more function of iris, but we will discuss after discussing pupil, because you will understand in a better way then. Now what is pupil? As you have seen that a round body, small round body, which is held by pupil, is iris, which is held by iris is pupil, this round body, this one. So now you know that what is the function of this pupil. As you see that whether you have brown eyes, black eyes or blue eyes, but every time a small round body which is located in that colored part is always black in all human beings, or in everyone it is going to be black. So that means pupil is always black in color. Pupil is always black in color. And you know that what is the reason behind that it is black in color? The reason is that we know that black color can absorb all the light rays. So it is black in color because it absorbs all light rays falling on it. Means no ray is reflected. All the rays which strikes are just being absorbed by the eye. Because see, eye is going to operate only if when there will be rays. So that means we need more amount of rays. So that is why cornea is allowing light to enter, and moreover pupil is also black so that it can absorb maximum amount of rays it can. So pupil is actually black in color. So now coming on to iris again. As I told you, it is colored part of eye and it is going to hold pupil. Now I am just going to state one example to you. As you know that see, when you are outside, I say that suppose it is a sunny day and I am in a park, right? So what happened? So when there is a sunny day and I am in a park or you are in a park, then what happens? Sometimes it becomes very difficult to open our eyes. That means we start blinking our eyes, because at that time the intensity of light is so high that so much amount of rays enter into eye and the image formed is very bright, right? But if you go from out into a cinema hall, then are you able to locate your seat? No, we cannot, because when we enter from the park or an outside into a dark room, then what happened, like a cinema hall, then what happened? Then because when we are outside, our pupil was smaller in size, because not so much light should enter into the eye, so that the image formed should not be that much bright that we cannot distinguish, right? So we want that the image which is formed should be distinguished by us. Got it? We want that every time the image which is formed by eye should be recognizable. We should recognize that what we have seen. So when we are outside, so for a recognizable image, we need appropriate amount of light. That means the image should neither be much bright nor be too dim. We want an appropriate brightness. So when we are outside, then what happened, there is if there is a sunny day or if there is so much sun rays around, so that time many rays enter into your eye and the image formed is such bright image that you are not able to recognize that what you have seen actually. And in the same way, when you enter into a dark room, then what happens, if there will be, because we know that in a dark room there are very scanty rays. So that means only small amount of rays will enter, and in that case the image formed will be very dim. Again, you won't be able to recognize that what you have seen. So as I told you that we need an appropriate brightness. So what happened? We can have an appropriate brightness if we will adjust the amount of light rays entering into the eye, and this we can do it by adjusting the size of pupil. And who is responsible to adjust the size of pupil? This is the iris. I think you got it, that when we are outside, we want an appropriate light rays to enter, right? And for that we want that the light rays entering should be less. And how it can be less? If pupil will constrict in size, become smaller in size, then the light rays entering into the eye will be low. And likewise, if we are in a dark room, there we want that maximum amount of light should enter into the eye so that a bright image is formed, so that you can recognize that what you have seen your friend, or you have seen your chair or anything around you. So at that time we want that pupil should expand so that it can gather maximum rays. That's then only the image formed will be appropriate, will have an appropriate brightness. So that means when we are outside or when we are inside, so we want that a pupil should adjust its size so that the amount of light rays entering into the eye should be adjusted so that the image formed is of appropriate brightness, and our brain can easily distinguish that what you have seen inside. So but it takes time, few seconds are involved. Like I told you that when you are outside, when you are purchasing a ticket for a movie, then you are able to see everything around, right? But once you enter into a cinema hall, then at that time you are not even able to recognize the stairs. There is a person standing near you who just put a torchlight and just make you move to your seat, right? And but after few minutes you can say that you are able to recognize that yes, so and so my friend is sitting back, so and so person is sitting here. You are able to recognize everything because pupil takes time to adjust its size, because when you are out the pupil was smaller in size, but when you stepped in, pupil expanded because now it is ready to absorb more light rays as there is a darkness. And it takes time. And who is responsible for adjustment of size? Obviously it is the colored part, that is the iris. So see, iris is performing a very important function. So what's that? It holds the pupil and also it adjusts the size of pupil. It adjusts the size of pupil. As you all know, I'll just write here that when there is a much bright light, then pupil constrict, means become smaller, and when there is darkness, then pupil expand so that it can gather much light. You know that now. So this is what is the iris and pupil. Moving on to the next part. So this we have done scleroid, choroid you know now. You know about cornea as well. You know iris also. You know pupil also. Now next is, this is the ciliary muscles, these ones. These are the ciliary muscles. Now what are the ciliary muscles? Ciliary muscles are the muscles like we have in a body, the muscle fiber same as present in a body. And there, what is the function of ciliary muscles? As you can see, they are holding the lens. They are holding the lens. So ciliary muscles are the muscle fibers that hold lens. Their function is to hold lens. Now again we'll discuss lens first, then there is a phenomena which we have to discuss again in detail as we discussed about iris. So coming on to lens first, as you can see this is a lens, right? So what kind of lens? As you can see this is, it is convex lens. It is convex lens, as you can easily make out with the shape. Do you think that a crystalline substance, that means a substance made up of glass, is present in eye? So is it possible to have a glass-like thing in your body? No, it is not possible. As you know that if something is like all the things which are in your body are living because they are made up of cell. So in the same way, we don't have glass material in our eye. We have a cellular structure, that means a structure which is made up of cell, but it functions like a convex lens. And as we know that convex lens is a converging lens. So this whole lens is not made up of glass, keep in mind. It is a cellular structure, that means a living structure. It is made up of cell and it behaves because its shape is just like convex lens. So it is going to function as like convex lens, that means it is going to converge rays. So that means if we talk about lens, so it is, you can see that convex lens, keep in mind it is a cellular structure, not any glass kind of material which is present in body. And its function is to converge rays. As we know that converge rays means, suppose you have a lens, that means all the rays falling will be just converge at one point. So this is the function it is going to perform here. Now again there is a important point to be discussed. See, whenever you are going to see a nearby object, suppose I want to see a friend who is just near to me, right? So at that time my lens should have a appropriate focal length, and if I wish to see a person who is standing much far from myself, so that means there the focal length should be more. So if you need to see an object which is near to you, your focal length of lens should decrease, and if you want to see a person who is standing very far, it is not confined only to a person, it can be a wall, it can be anything, any object. We will consider any object who is far from you, then your focal length should increase. And the one who is responsible to increase or decrease the focal length of lens is the ciliary muscles. So again, they are performing a very important function. So we can write here that ciliary muscles hold the lens, and secondly, they are the one which help in adjusting the focal length of lens. We will discuss that how they are help in adjusting the focal length, but later in the next topic. But at this moment you should know that ciliary muscle hold the lens, and secondly they are the one which help in adjusting the focal length of the lens. So that means we have done with the ciliary muscles as well. You know about the lens also now. Now what is this portion? This is the retina. This is the retina. So what is retina? It is actually a screen of eye. Screen of eye where image is formed. So the part in which the image is going to be formed will be retina. So on retina, image is going to be formed. You know that retina is made up of two important kind of cells. Those are rod cells and cone cells, and they serve very important function. As you can see, anything like if you have a friend standing near to you and she is wearing a red beautiful dress, how can you make out? These are the cells, rod and cone cells, which make us possible to recognize or to form a better or an appropriate kind of image that she is wearing a red dress or she is looking beautiful or like that. So now you know that what is the main function for the rod or the cone cells? Rod cells respond to intensity of light, or you can say the brightness of the image is controlled by rod cells. So if you will see any object which does not have any appropriate brightness, do you think that image is going to be beautiful? No, it won't be, because in order to make any image beautiful, we need a brightness, and that brightness comes from the rod cells which is present in the retina. So that means rod cells just impart brightness to the image, or we can say it responds to the intensity of light. Likewise, cone cells respond to colors. That means, as you can see the colorful image, as I told you, if some of my friend is standing near me wearing a beautiful red dress, how can I recognize that red color? It is just because of the cone cells. So that means rod cells and cone cells are very important. They are playing an important role, as they are just imparting the brightness and the colors to the image which we see around. So these are the rod and the cone cells. And you should know that if somebody asks you that what is screen of eye, you should be quick with your answer that it is retina. So this is what is the retina. There is an important point on the retina. As you can see, I have marked the portion. This is yellow spot. This is yellow spot. What is yellow spot now? And it is very important question. You often get in paper for 1 mark. Yellow spot is a point on retina where most clear image is formed. Where most clear image is formed. This is the yellow spot. And as you can see, this elevation is the whole elevation is on the retina is the yellow spot, but there is a depression between the yellow spot. As you can see, this is the depression. This depression is called as fovea centrale. And you know that what is the function of this? It is helpful in forming the image of minute object. It is helpful in forming the image of minute object. For example, if you are trying to put a thread in a needle, if you are trying to put a thread in a needle, at that time you need to be concentrate at the specific point. So when you see the needle, the hole of the needle where we can put the thread, you concentrate it, and the image which is formed, it is formed on this point. That is the fovea centralis. So whenever you want a pinpoint image, that is formed as the fovea centralis. So this is what is the eye, and see this portion is called as blind spot. This portion is called as blind spot. Why it is called as blind spot? Because here no image is formed. As you can see, there is no image because no retina is not there, but its function is that, as you can see, that optic nerve enters from this way. And what is the function of optic nerve? It connects eye to brain. It connects eye to brain, because whatever the image is formed, it is all the electric signals which has to be sent to the eye by means of the optic nerve, and then only your brain is going to distinguish that yes, so and so, you have seen so and so person, you have seen Sonia or you have seen Monica. So that comes all from your brain part, that your memory part, but the whole image is formed on this thing eye, but it has to be carried through electric signals by optic nerve to the brain, and brain is there, as we know that it is the master of a body, so it is going to recognize that what you have seen, you know that person prior also, or that person is new to you, or whatever you want to make out, you can just make out by using your brain, right. So this is what is the human eye. Now we'll start with the power of accommodation, that how the eye can see the object which is near or which is far, that will take in next topic. So I think it's clear with human eye. So this is what is the human eye, the parts of human eye.